Welcome, everyone, to Introduction to Clinical Research. My name is Marla Helly. I'll be your trainer today. And for today's session, we are going to describe the different phases of drug development and also differentiate the difference between both drug development and medical device development. Also, in today's session, we're going to discuss some of the historical events and the importance of good clinical practice throughout the world in clinical research. So looking at what brought us to current day, how we conduct clinical research as clinical research professionals, putting the human subject at the utmost importance in safety throughout the conduct of clinical trials. So if I recall, I believe today all we have are individuals from one company and you're with a sponsor company. Is that correct? Is everybody here from the same company? Okay, perfect. Back at the history of clinical trials, we can actually look to the book of Daniel in the Bible. Actually, there was an experiment that was conducted by King Nebuchadnezzar, who was also a military leader. And during his rule in Babylon, he ordered his people to only eat meat and drink wine. He believed that this particular diet would be beneficial. However, some of the young men of royal blood who preferred to eat vegetables objected. And so the king allowed these individuals to eat a diet of legumes and water, but only for 10 days. And he also said, another group, you go ahead and eat your traditional meal that we've been providing you, which is of meat and wine. When his experiment ended, he observed that the vegetarian diet appeared to be more nourished than the meat eaters. So the king said, I'm going to permit you to continue to have your diet then of legumes and water based upon what you wanted. And this, again, is probably one of the first times in evolution where human species that are now allowed to have an uncontrolled use of an experiment that guided in a decision for public health. And I just think this is interesting when you start to look at what we have done as human beings in the conduct of clinical trials. Also, we can go and look at another historical document where James Lind, a Royal Navy surgeon, had conducted a clinical trial that revealed that citrus was a cure for scurvy among sailors in the Royal Navy. He actually looked at how could I provide the various groups of men, so 12 men with scurvy, which was a disease of the gums, which essentially said, I'm going to set you up in pairs, and I'm going to give you a treatment. And what he discovered based upon this treatment was that the group that received oranges and lemons treated the scurvy. And so, again, we see that through a trial of treatment, a treatment was then recommended to prevent progression of disease. Also, too, we can look at how now statistician and randomization, or statistics and randomization, which is a standard that we bring into how we conduct clinical trials, has occurred. So a gentleman by the name of Sir Austin Bradford Hill developed statistics and randomization in his experiments to eliminate bias. So he specifically looked at how am I going to treat individuals that had tuberculosis, where I could eliminate my particular bias for a treatment. And so looking at using streptomycin and bed rest compared to those only with bed rest to see which one actually treated the tuberculosis. And what they discovered was that the introduction of both bed rest along with the streptomycin treated the tuberculosis without any bias. And these are principles that we use in the conduct of clinical trials today, looking at how we try to prevent any bias in the conduct of the research. So let's look at the evolution of research and some of the foundations.